Hi, it's Savannah O'Gwyn from Savannah Land 2. Today I'd like to share a couple of different ways to create frames using border images and stamps. First, I'd like to share how to create a frame using a border stamp. Now for my card, I have used one of my Paper Smooches border stamps to create a frame around my card. And I created it on a transparency, but you don't always have to use a transparency. You can use cardstock or vellum as well. So the supplies you're going to need are some cardstock, ink, and I'm using Sukaniko Radiant Neon Electric Purple ink, a border stamp. I'll be using this image right here from the Paper Smooches Tribalation stamp set, and you're also going to need a stamp press or acrylic block. First, you want to measure your border stamps. So take a ruler and you're going to measure the length of your border stamp. Now this stamp is 3.5 inches long, and I'm going to cut my cardstock to about a 5-inch square. That way I have extra on each side. Now I'm going to place my stamp on my stamp press. And I like to do that by laying it down and lining it up. And now I'm going to ink up my image. And I'm just going to start by stamping the bottom of my cardstock. Now remember, this cardstock is a little bigger than my image is going to be. And now I'm going to continue stamping and inking for each side of the cardstock. And I'm going to flip this and line it up next to my stamped image already. Now that I've created my frame, I can cut my excess using a trimmer and complete my card. And here is my finished trimmed out frame. For my second example, I'll be creating a frame around an oval or circle die cut. For this example, you're going to need some cardstock. I've used just regular purple cardstock. You'll need some ink, and I'll be using Versamark, a border stamp. For this example, I've used the heart line from the Sweethearts Paper Smooches stamp set. You'll need your stamp press or an acrylic block. You also need some tape. I'll be using painter's tape. You'll need a die cutting machine. I've used my Cuttlebug along with my A, B, and C plates. And you'll need a die cut image, and I'm using the medium size oval from Paper Smooches. So the first thing you want to do is cut your cardstock to size and die cut an oval image in the center of this panel. So you're going to take your die cut, place it in the center of your panel, and this panel is cut to 4 inches square. Once you've completed that, you will get something like this. You'll remove the center and save it for another time. And what you're going to do is use this die cut image as your guide for stamping and placement of your image. So what I like to do is place my stamp press over the die cut panel, and I take my stamp and I arrange it, just manipulating the stamp enough to make it curve around my image. Now when you flip your stamp press over, you will have almost a reverse image. Sometimes it doesn't always match up, but in this case it actually does, so that's a good thing. I like to check my arrangement before stamping and inking. So it actually works. You can see that it lines up around my curve really well. And what you're going to do is take your ink up your image, and stamp around part of your die cut image. In between stamping, you want to make sure you clean your stamp so that you get a nice border around your image. Now you're going to continue inking and stamping until your border has been created, and there are times that you will have to use some tape to mask your image. I'll have to realign this, so I'll stamp this like this, or I'll place it like this and recurve my stamp. And I'll check my image so it doesn't line up there, but maybe it'll line up on this side since it's the reverse. And there's only a little bit of space here that I'm going to have to realign. So make your adjustments, making sure that you press down the entire image. Check it again. Perfect. And now I can ink it up and stamp again. Make sure that you line up both your images and your die cut and stamp. Remember to clean off your image before stamping again. Now for this last part, my stamp might be a little bit too big, so I'm going to have to use some masking tape or painter's tape or washi's tape to mask my image. See how the hearts overlap right about here? So we're going to have to take some painter's tape, flip this over and see how it lines up. I'm going to have to adjust a little bit. And it's right about this second heart. And I'm going to just take it and mask off the part that is overlapping. I'm going to check it one more time, and then I'll ink up my stamp and stamp it down, removing my mask before stamping. Remember again to line up your images. And there you have a stamped frame around a die cut image. And now you can use this stamped panel to complete your card design. And finally, I'll be sharing how to create a custom frame using the masking technique. This is a great way to stamp frames on pattern papers. So for this, you'll need some regular cardstock, and I'm using a card base made out of marshmallow cardstock paper. You'll need some pattern paper, ink, and I'm using Sukaniko's Delicata Silvery Shimmer. You'll need a border stamp. I'm using the Sweethearts line of X's and O's, a stamp press and acrylic block, painter's tape or washi tape, removable adhesive, and regular basic craft supplies. So the first thing you're going to want to do is cut your pattern paper to the size of your card base and attach it using just regular tape. Once you've created your card base, you're going to want to cut some scrap cardstock to the size of your desired frame. Now my frame will be used as a guide for stamping our custom image, and the cardstock frame is going to be based on the size of my stamp image. So I'm going to need a ruler and I'm going to measure this image, and it's about 2 3/4 inches long. So I'm going to create a frame that's about 2 3/8 by 1 7/8 inches. Just one side of your frame will be the size of your border stamp. Now we're going to take our frame and attach it using removable adhesive. And we can place it anywhere on our card. Now you want to attach your stamp to your stamp press. Ink this up, and we're going to stamp the top and the bottom because it's the same length as our border stamp. Now we're going to clean our stamp, and now because this side is a different length than this, we're going to mask our stamp. But first we need to check how big this is and where we want to mask it. So once I check my stamp with my custom frame, I'm going to mask it right past this X. So I place my finger there, and I take my painter's tape, and I'm going to mask it and check it again. And that works. Now we're going to ink it up and stamp again. And then we're going to flip it and do the exact same thing on the other side. Be sure to check your images, and then we're going to ink and stamp again. Once we've stamped all 4 sides, we can remove the center frame and any excess adhesive. And now we can complete our card with any embellishments and other stamped images. I hope that you will create some custom border frames or frame designs using your border images for your next project. Please leave a comment below with a link to one of your creations. I'd love to check it out. Thanks so much for watching.